What is it that makes Mark Carney different in his approach and his leadership from any other previous prime minister that we've had in this country? Over the last 2.5 months since he's become leader, I've been thinking about that a lot, and there are really two things I think that are evident. One is the times in which we're living. Canada faces its greatest threats, the greatest threat to its economy and sovereignty from the United States of America, from their president. This is the greatest threat that we've seen, certainly in my lifetime, if not in the history of Canada. We are under threat from disinformation, from other foreign influences, as we saw in the Foreign Interference Commission. And these are very different times than what we've experienced in the past. When Carney became the leader on May the 9th of the Liberal Party and as a result the Prime Minister, he did some immediate things. That's the second thing. He has made very consistent and quick decisions. He immediately eliminated the carbon tax or carbon pricing, consumer carbon pricing, which had become a very divisive issue and was very successfully used by the Conservatives against the Trudeau government. He dealt with that. He appointed an immediate cabinet. He called an election quickly. He campaigned on promises, some very consistent, clear promises of protecting Canada's sovereignty, its economy, growing our economy from within, strengthening alliances, trade and military or strategic deals with other countries, bringing in the best and the brightest people in Canada, reducing regulatory burden, multiple regulatory burdens on Canadian industry and the Canadian economy. And after he won the election in May, he put out one mandate letter to his ministers, with 7 key points, which I've posted here as have other creators. Again, all along the themes of protecting our economy, our sovereignty, and growing our economy and growing our security systems and bringing in the best and the brightest to this country because people want to come here, especially probably now from the United States, given what's happening there. He's got a theme. He's been consistent in it. He is extremely intelligent, and he is going to do what he says he's going to do. I learned last night from a very trusted source that he apparently did not want to become Prime Minister, or become the Liberal leader. The Liberal Party begged him to do so, and he agreed on the condition that he would call the shots, that his decisions would be the ones that go forward for the party, and the party must have agreed to that, and here he is. So interestingly, he is been under some criticism, I guess. I saw an article in the National Post that people have talked about that he expects his staff, his ministers and their staff to be punctual, to dress well, to know how to spell, and I'm not quite sure why that's a problem. One would think that the leader of a G7 nation would those would be basic expectations, so interesting comments. I've also seen criticism in the mainstream media and from certain creators here that based on what he's done so far, that he is a trickle-down economist, that he's going to put in austerity measures, he's going to reduce or eliminate social programs, and he hasn't said any of that. He hasn't done any of that so far, and it's really early days. And I feel that people are reacting to what he's doing based on a 2024 model of politics. 2020, 2010, 1990s, 1980s, 1970s kind of approach to politics. And Mark Carney is not that Prime Minister. He is not approaching his leadership on a past-based model. He is going forward in this new world in which we live in. And that is not going to end anytime soon if you look at what's going on in the United States, which sadly seems to only be on a worsening trajectory. Mark Carney is a new type of leader, and I personally am a supporter, obviously, for those of you who follow my account, but also I think we need to wait and see what he does, because he's going to do things I don't think we really can imagine to promote our economy, our security, our civil society, our relationships with countries, including the United States. And that includes this whole issue with the dome, for which he said that Canada has been in high-level talks with the United States. That's all he said. He has not said have entered into an agreement or that there's anything specifically happening with that. So people are rushing to this kind of very old-fashioned, in my opinion, judgment of his leadership to date, his whole 2.5 months. And I feel that that is trying to put a square peg in a round hole. We live in 2025. This is a new world for Canada. He is a new world leader for us. And personally, I'm really looking forward to seeing what he's going to do, and we'll be reporting on that as we go forward. I believe it was today, I posted a video that, I'm not sure if he said this today, that he is also going to he's aware of obviously the misinformation and the bad actors that are on social media, especially out of the United States and other countries, and he's going to do something about that. Because and I see him, unlike the previous liberal government that didn't seem to take the disinformation campaign against it and against Canadians as seriously as they should have, to Mr. Trudeau's demise, this Prime Minister will do so. So the message from me as I'm going forward and I'm following all of this is that we have a whole new leadership structure and paradigm here with Mr. Carney. And I say bring it on. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does.